Good Morning Night Vale is brought to you by The Disappearances of Lydia Fontaine, a new independently produced and crowdfunded 10-episode original audio drama. Set in a deceptively familiar world of electronic surveillance and machine-mediated communication, The Disappearances of Lydia Fontaine follows Lydia Ryan and her friends, lovelorn Ethan and wannabe internet sensation Dee, as they struggle to unravel the mystery of her mother's disappearance. Escape the sinister Fontaine family, and survive the feud over her grandfather's supernatural legacy. It weaves bitter family drama and high-stakes intrigue with fantasy and cyberpunk elements to create a surreal mystery about secrets and grudges, old books, big data, and the promise of infinite knowledge. And do not forget the talking birds. It's a full-cast production with original music and a bespoke soundscape presented through a series of found-footage-style surveillance recordings. And it's important to note, this show was made entirely without generative AI. Even the computers are voiced by human actors. Episodes are free, and you can start listening right now with the Season 1 finale due to come out on August 16th. For more information, go to lydiadisappears.com. and find The Disappearances of Lydia Fontaine wherever you get your podcasts and start listening from the beginning.
Insurance isn't one size fits all, and shopping for it shouldn't feel like squeezing into something that just doesn't fit. That's why drivers have enjoyed Progressive's Name Your Price tool for years. With the Name Your Price tool, you tell them what you want to pay, and they show you options that fit your budget. Enough hunting for discounts, trying to calculate rates, and tinkering with coverages. Maybe you're picking out your very first policy, or maybe you're just looking for something that works better for you and your family. Either way, they make it simple to see your options. No guesswork, no surprises. Ready to see how easy and fun shopping for car insurance can be? Visit Progressive.com and give the Name Your Price tool a try. Take the stress out of shopping and find coverage that fits your life, on your terms. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law.
This is a story about them, says the man on the radio.
And you are concerned because this is not a story you were ever supposed to hear.
Good morning, Night Vale. Hello, everybody. I'm Hal Lublin, your Jewish friend.
Oh, and I'm Symphony Sanders, your black friend.
And I'm Meg, and I'm not your friend.
Wow.
I'm your best friend.
Oh! Twist and turning around.
All right. Well, here we are. We've gathered, we've collected ourselves on the internet, and we are here to talk to you about a podcast called Welcome to Night Vale, which is probably a podcast that you heard of, is my guess. But if you haven't heard of Welcome to Night Vale, then I would recommend going to look that podcast up first before listening to this one, just to give yourself a little bit more context, because this is the podcast that talks about the other podcast.
Wise words.
Yeah.
Wise words.
Truer words never spoken.
Oh, except for these words, because it's the episode description. The title of this episode seems familiar to you, and it does. Let's talk about it!
Before we talk about it,
What?
I want to talk about how we sync our recordings.
I think you should.
We use a website.
Tell them about it.
This is Meg's. Meg gets full credit for this. We go to a site called time.gov. And then
just go there.
So everybody go to time.gov, and
we'll wait.
We sync up. We choose a point in time, and we all clap, and that syncs us up. But this website is like a GeoCity site. I'm counting right now. I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 different fonts. And the actual usable area of the website is like the size of a postage stamp.
Yes, it is a government website, time.gov, to which I said your tax dollar at work. I mean, it definitely didn't cost anything. It can't be cost. It was designed by someone
anything.
it was designed by like a college freshman in 1998 who was learning to code. They were like, for your assignment, you have to make a website. And they're like, how about time? And now here we are with this website.
Oh, by the way, if you click on the About This site, you will get a worse version of the site with a bunch of broken images.
I just wonder if you could put like, like a skin on it. Do you know what I mean? Like to make it like look more modern.
I want to wrap my screen in skin so I don't have to look at this.
Well,
is our audio synced? Are you listening to us synced right now?
Yeah.
Because if you are, then you know it's working.
Everybody clap once you have gotten to the site and gotten over your shock. Sync your claps.
It'll be a clap heard round the world.
Yeah. The whole world will applaud. It'll be in the news. Trending worldwide. World claps.
Well, let's talk about this episode. Why don't we?
that was a worthy
You like that segue?
Side tangent. Yeah. Thanks for digging me out of that.
Well, that's what I'm here for, baby cakes. So we're back in this format as we were in A Story About You, which was a break away from what the normal format of the Night Vale episodes are. And while Cecil is still our narrator, obviously, this story is being driven by the actions of them. Who are they? It's questionable.
I don't know. I don't know who they is.
A man who's not tall and a man who's not short, which, by the way, in my brain, I'm like, do you think they're like the same height?
Yes, they have to be, right?
Right? Or close in height. Like 5'7" to 5'9", you know what I mean?
Or like one of them's 5'8", one of them's 5'10".
Right.
Or 5'7", 5. Yeah, something where
it's
like,
not short.
Well, they're not short. What is the cutoff for short?
For a man? For a man.
What is a man's cutoff for short?
What's the cut of a man?
I think of probably like 5'6".
5'6",
short for
5'6", and shorter is short for a man. I guess.
And then I think for ladies, or I don't know, maybe like 5'3".
Wow.
Or shorter is short. I don't know.
Feeling very attacked right now.
Symphony, how tall are you?
None of your goddamn business. You shouldn't ask a lady that. No, I am 5'2" and a half. It's probably 5'2" and a quarter, but I like to fudge the quarter inch.
Sure. And you get on your tippy toes, and then that makes up the other half inch. And then boom.
But
5'3".
in personality, 700 feet tall.
That's right.
Yeah.
100%.
You've never felt short to me, although we do stand next to each other a lot.
And I'm smaller. You're very tall. Right. That's the thing. I'm not short. You guys are just very tall.
I love how you wear, and we do shows, you wear heels that are like 5 inches, and you're still...
Oh, that's the best. Because we use the same microphone in the show, all the guests do. So when you come out, you adjust the microphone to your height. And I'm always the shortest person. So I always feel bad for whoever has to come after me because they have to fully pull it all the way up. Because I'm I'm wearing legit at least 3-inch heels every show. Except for those couple times that I wore flats. But that was so I could do gymnastics.
Yeah.
And running.
That's always the weirdest part. For that show in particular, it feels weird adjusting the mic. Because you sort of hit the stage. You're trying to time it so that there's really no break that you can sort of get right into it.
Isn't there? You take your space on the stage. Hal.
I mean, I do. Look, I definitely do. But I also am very aware. I'm like a big pacing guy.
Yeah.
So I'm always like, I want to push the pace and go, go. Especially earlier on, early.
Doesn't your applause cover your entrance, Hal?
I don't want them to applaud me because when they're applauding, I'm trying to stay in the moment. I'm picturing I'm in the studio and what is that like for Steve?
Adjust the microphone.
I should be. Look, I'm professional in some ways. Isn't that enough?
I smile and bask it in as I'm doing my job, Hal. So
okay.
It's fine in this script, this Spy in the Desert, the one that we're touring now. Yeah. It's fine for my first entrance, but my second entrance, I sneak on stage.
Right.
That's true.
And so, but I'm also doing something physically with my body to make it add to the scene. So
totally, you're right.
I am trying to sneak on stage and I'm using my arms are waving around like Wacky Wavy Inflatable Arm Man. And then I have to stop that to adjust the mic so that people can hear me when I talk. It's always so awkward. I'm always like, well, how do I? And I have a script in my hand. I'm wacky, wavy, inflatable arm man, and I'm trying to be sneaky while adjusting a microphone that is for some reason set to 3 feet below my mouth.
That is because of me. I'm very sorry. And I will, you know what? I'm going to do you a favor. I'm going to raise it up. I'm going to raise you up like Josh Groban. I'll raise you up.
Here we are again with the groovy.
Yeah. But getting back to
anyways,
the episode.
Yeah. Tall people versus short people.
There's definitely an airplane element of this to me, or more Police Squad. I don't know if either of you watched Police Squad, the TV show upon which Naked Gun was based.
Girl.
I've assumed, but I don't want to assume. I don't want to assume anybody's seen anything.
That gray-haired man, he funny.
He is very funny. But this idea that they're listening to their own actions be narrated in real time, so they can't have a thought or do anything without it being called out.
And sometimes
really
they fight
device.
against it.
Yes, but you can't. You can't evade
the story that's being told about them.
Yeah,
meaning you.
It's a wonderful piece of meta comedy that we haven't seen Jeffrey and Joseph dabble in yet, and it's it's very well done, and it's done enough up front to be funny, and then you're reminded of it later on rather than it constantly being called out. Because I feel like if you did that too much, for me listening to it, I was sort of like, oh, I hope they don't abuse this device. Because otherwise, if you do, I think it becomes all about the idea of this real-time narration rather than any story popping up around it.
Well, and I think actually in this episode especially, it actually helped to move the plot line or the storyline that we're following along quite a bit. I was actually really surprised because the last time I felt like it was interesting, like we were following along, and because it was such a new plot device, I thought it was fascinating to like listen to it, but it wasn't really necessarily moving a story along until we got to this episode. And then you're like, oh, whoa, these are those same dudes that were like, I wonder, in my brain, I was like, is the person they picked up you? Do you know what I mean? From the story about, is it the story about you? Or is it a whole new person that they brought in?
Right. Is it a Rashomon?
Yeah. Like, that's what they do. But we were introduced to, so we had already the man who's not tall, the man who's not short. And then we have the boss. The boss wasn't there the last time.
Right.
The manager.
Boss is new.
Yeah, the boss was new. But we found out more about the contents of the boxes, which was really cool. And how they are the ones who are responsible for the mad people under the bowling alley.
Yes, but there's no why. It's like one of those really interesting things.
Yeah.
Where it's like you're an agent of destruction, or you're an agent of chaos. You're an agent of causing this change, this catalyst, but you don't know why, but you still have to do it.
Right.
So
it was like a fun blend for me of the way I was picturing them was a mix between, oh my gosh, why am I blanking on this? What is the movie with John Travolta?
Get Shorty?
No, the one with Samuel
Grease?
L. Jackson.
Oh, Pulp Fiction.
Oh. Why can't my brain? I was imagining them to be those guys, kind of, but then also these two characters, Angel and from a newer show about like interdimensional. Oh, one about the 7 kids. No, anyway, it's on Netflix.
Seventh Heaven.
Yeah.
Yes.
The Brady Bunch, but when Oliver was there.
Mm-hmm. No, the Umbrella.
The one on Hulu.
Netflix.
The Runaways.
No, it's on Netflix.
The OA. 13 Reasons Why.
Yep. Okay.
Queer
Anyways,
Eye. Henny.
I imagine them in suits.
Yeah.
And they're kind of an odd couple sort of thing because he's like, I would invite you over for dinner, but he's never actually going to do that. And that would be nice. And it was interesting to see their repartee going back and forth. So obviously they've worked together for a while, but like their relationship to each other is just based on this job. No?
Yes.
Yep.
That's what I think. I think is that they've worked together for a bit. They found themselves in this situation. You know, that they found themselves as part of a pair partnership in this weird thing that they're challenged to do that there is no why for, but it is a violent and destructive thing that they have to do. The way that I imagine them is that they're like not quite whole people, that like they're kind of shells of people because like they don't have the ability to have actual relationships with each other or have the ability to do anything besides just the work. Like they're almost robotic shell type people because the nature, we don't really get much personality out of them or a feeling out of them. Right. We just kind of get their actions.
Yes.
And like literally their narrated actions.
You definitely feel that, especially towards the end when, spoiler alert, when the new person is like, and I with you too. Like, it's all very weird. Like, no one normally would say that thing to each other. I mean, I just thought it was strange, like the way when he says the same to you, the same as well to you. That's a weird thing to say to somebody that you're going to be working with so closely and that basically kidnapped you.
My theory about how this whole system of these men who are not tall or short works is that it's like a cyclical thing that some determined amount of time they go out, they have to kidnap someone, and then they take them out into the desert, and then one of the men who is not tall or is not short is killed and then is replaced by the you.
Yeah.
And that is what happened in a story about you and a story about them. So you became one of the men.
Right.
Yeah, the whole thing has such an organized crime feel to it. And I the way I read what they were doing with the buildings from the miniature city.
Yeah.
I know they're moving them to other warehouses and other deserts. I feel like in my brain, I immediately leapt to, they're selling them. They're like fencing these buildings, which are somehow of value. And that's furthering their interest. And if they're also it's almost like in any mob movie when they move in on another mob, take their stuff and then sell it. So they're doing two things at once, right? They're furthering their own interests financially, and they're also hurting a rival and acquiring more territory.
But the rival is like the little people?
Yeah.
So do you think that they're like trying to separate them from each other?
I don't know. It might be one of those things where it's because it's there. Hey, we need that. That's valuable. Okay. So we're going to take that. We take what we want.
Or maybe starting a tiny little war in multiple different places to create upsetness in different places.
Yeah, to create instability.
Yeah.
And take advantage of it. It's possible. You know, I almost didn't think of it. Once I locked into the idea of like, these are mobsters, then it all sort of made sense. And in my brain, this whole episode was set in the 70s, in like the Scorsese dirty New York. It had that feel to it. So there is that trope of like the two sort of hired goons that are really detached from it when they sit there and talk to one another and they have that discussion in the moonlight initially, like they have nothing to say to one another.
Right.
They're just moving forward. I don't even know if either of them are aware that one of them is going to be gone, or maybe they are. They each think it's going to be them and they're just like have accepted it.
Well, I honestly feel like the one who is not tall was the one who was like in charge. And I put that in quotation marks because he was the one who was always offering the direction. And he was the one who was like the colder of the two. Mm-hmm. Because the one who was not short was like kind of goofy and then he started seeing stuff. So that makes me think, Meg, because you said they were like kind of like hollow, like whatever. It's like, what if they were people or whatever, or they're like some sort of weird clone that like has a shelf life? Do you know what I mean? And they're like, okay, once they're activated and like working for the company or whoever they're working for, once they start like wearing down, they start seeing these visions. Because all throughout the episode, he's like, what's that? And the other one was like, what? You know?
It's the Dark Planet.
Right? Actually, that actually makes me think a few times I've had this recurring, I don't know if I'd call it a nightmare, but like I was afraid, but like more in awe of anything. where there was like I opened the front door to my house. This is my parents' house, like 2 houses ago. And a planet was as big in the sky as like, just like the biggest thing you could see in the sky, bigger than the sun, bigger than any of the other stars or whatever. But you could see like full, like as if it was almost in our atmosphere. And this,
it's so terrifying,
right? It's like scary because you're like, that's not right. That shouldn't be there. But and that's what I'm imagining is what the one who's not short sees.
Yeah, the planet that's so big and so close and dark that you can almost touch it. And as soon as you reach out to touch it,
you disappear.
You get killed.
Well, and I didn't even think of it as being killed. I thought of it as being reabsorbed into like the cosmos.
Isn't that a beautiful way to think of it?
Yeah. I mean, it reads like he gets stabbed, but is it possible just
right,
to
because
marry
the knife? Oh, you're
yeah,
right.
he makes a movement. He moves his hand that has the knife in it, and then all of a sudden, the short guy doesn't really exist anymore. So he's murdered.
Yeah, I just glossed over. I just glossed over that part because I was like, no, he just went back into the cosmos.
Well, it's subtle. It's definitely
Yeah.
subtle the way that it's written, as far as the it's not a gruesome stabbing scene.
Right.
It's just described as he moves his hand and then that he's no longer there.
Yeah.
Well, and I even liked the description of the knife because it was like, it was like all shiny and stuff, but it's like obviously been used the way he holds it and understands it and whatnot. And you're just like, oh, that's kind of fucked.
Yeah, but I also don't blame you for blowing past that because, as Meg said, it's subtle. And isn't that the whole thing of this episode? Is we're sort of stuck inventing a canon around it because there's a lot of subtlety and on purpose there's a lot that's sort of left purposefully ambiguous, right down to the descriptions of the men. We assume they're the same height because not short and not tall both seem to be average,
right?
But we don't know for sure what that is, or it's just there's a real lack of description in a good way, and I enjoyed it a lot. It's weird to have it dropped in to the middle of the stretch. It's like a huge break from it all, from the intensity.
Yes,
intensity of the Strex Corp.
But then it brings back certain things that have not been dropped, but like were underlying. Like these are things that have been going on in Night Vale for God knows how long. And now we're finding more interesting things about this whole thing. And it's freaky because you're like, what possibly could they want with all of that?
Right.
Yeah. Joseph talks about in the intro in the script book to this episode, he talks about how he wrote this as a standalone, but because there was so much going on with the plot, he had to drop in some Strex plot. And so there's that Dana bit, which I think is because it really does still feel like a standalone episode, but it matches the tone. So it's not jarring when we go to the other story and the woman walking through the desert. It doesn't really feel jarring because of the tone is similar. It's almost seamless.
It's almost like a dream, like that description, don't you think? It's like, they're like, oh, yes. And also this thing is going on with this woman in the desert. And it's but we're not talking about her,
Yeah.
Joseph says that he thinks the episode would be better if it didn't have it in it. But sometimes you got to do what you got to do. Which I found interesting. Yeah, and going back to talking about there's not really much tangible in this episode as far as descriptions go. There's a lot of vagary. I found 2 tangible description things in it that I thought were interesting. Is that we get 2 very strong descriptions of smell. He says the warehouse. Yeah. He describes how the warehouse smells, and he describes how the diner smells. So the diner smells like rubber and bread, and the warehouse smells like rotting wood and dryer sheets.
I don't think I know what rotting wood smells like, but I definitely know what dryer sheets smells like.
So good.
I know. Like comforting.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Like you want to wrap yourself up in it.
I imagine it smelling kind of like a library, like old wood, kind of having that,
Oh, yeah.
Maybe a little of that, but maybe also it'd be a lot stronger because it's more concentrated.
Mm.
When I think about old wood, I think about like dusty and moldy.
Right.
I think it's interesting that the descriptions that we get in this episode written by Joseph for smells because he's a super smeller. He does. He uses smell a lot, and he uses sense a lot in his writing. It's one of the patterns of his. But yeah, I always find it fun when he brings up smells because he sees the world through his nose.
But I think that it can be a very strong sense for people, like, what certain things smell like, or you can be like, oh, that's familiar to me. Why is that familiar to me? And is that a good thing or a bad thing? And I don't know, it just sets you in some sort of familiarity with the time, the place, and you can really just like sink in a little bit more to the story when you feel like surrounded by it.
Yeah.
Yeah. For me, like descriptions of smells, I think are interesting because we do have some of that is shared information that we have. We all know what dryer sheets smell like, or we all think we know what dryer sheets smell like. It could smell like something different to each of us, but we have that touch point in our minds. But I think sometimes the most specific smells are ones that you really can't describe. Like, think about, like, what did your elementary school smell like? If you were to smell it again, you'd be taken back there instantly. But what did it, like, can you really describe what the exact smell of it was in a way that's going to make someone else have that same feeling,
Yeah. I get really triggered by smells in a very strong way, too. Like, certain smells remind me of my mother's cooking from when I was a kid, and it makes me think... When I watch Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood, which I still do as a grown adult because I'm a good person, I smell my mother's cooking because that was always dinner time. Dinner was right after Mr. Rogers. So sometimes the smell triggers the memory. Sometimes something external triggers the smell memory. And all of a sudden you have like the sensation of smelling it without the scent being in the air, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. What would be something that your mom would cook for dinner?
Beef stew.
Oh, nice. That's such a
comforting. It's such a good smelling food.
Yes, it smells so good.
Because it's warm, it's warming. It's like that beefy, like potatoey. Ugh.
Yeah, beef, onion, carrot, and potato and celery. And the ladle we had, the scoop part was triangle shaped, so the handle was at the point of the triangle. And I just remember, I wish that ladle still existed. I would love to own it because so much good food came out of that ladle. That and wonton soup came out of that ladle a lot. And those are two.
I love wonton soup.
Oh, it's so good. Oh, wonton soup. Gone but not forgotten.
It's like the turkey club in the diner.
Oh, yeah.
It's a solid diner order. Men who are not tall, who are not short. Turkey club with fries. Like, that's what you're going to want to get at a diner. I feel like that's one of the, like, 10 approved diner foods. Yeah. Of the diner menu that is the size of the King James Bible, where they have lobster thermidor and all sorts of ridiculous shit that you never, ever get. Turkey club is something that's like, you can get that.
Is that your go-to? Every time you go to a diner, that's what you're hunting down?
Sometimes. I mean, I like that. It's one of the ultimates for me is the turkey club with fries.
Top three.
Diner orders? Okay. A solid diner omelet that's got like some good cheese, hash browns, toast. Feeling good about that. Turkey club. And then, I mean, the Jersey in me is the disco fries. Like that was such a salad. Yeah.
What's a disco fry?
Disco fry is fries with gravy and cheese.
Okay. Similar to a poutine?
But it's not cheese curd. It's just like melted cheese.
Okay. Reg cheese.
Reg cheese.
For me, at breakfast time, I'm going to go corned beef hash, depending on what it's like, but preferably I love a corned beef hash with like really crispy hash browns or pancakes, bacon, crispy eggs, whatever. But if I'm going to do like a sandwich, patty melt.
Oh,
I'm a patty melt gal.
That's a good choice. I love a tuna melt.
Tuna melt.
Sure. Also good.
It depends on the day.
With tomato.
Whatever I get, it's going to be prefaced by a bowl of chicken noodle soup or matzo ball soup, whichever they have.
Oh, I love matzo ball soup.
One is scrambled eggs with bacon, toasted bagel, plain, and French fries, unless they're like hash browns are incredible.
Okay.
2 is like a roasted chicken with mashed potatoes and vegetables on the side.
You get the chicken dinner. You're the guy who gets the chicken dinner at the diner.
Oh, I'll get a chicken dinner. Yeah, I'm not afraid. That's like number 3, though. Number 2 is an open-faced either turkey sandwich or roast beef sandwich. That's a good food. And give me the mashed potatoes, give me some carrots and broccoli with that. And then dessert's going to be a slice of pie with ice
dessert
cream on it.
Dessert. Well,
Yeah,
I wasn't.
a pile of
I was
those.
just talking about the regular meal.
Yeah, of course.
The dessert is a whole different thing. For me, cherry pie, number 1.
Good choice.
Cherry pie a la mode, friend.
Yes.
Or if you got a good shake, but you have to have the best shake for me to take on that lactose. Ho.
Yeah.
Listen, Ho, I need you to bring me a milkshake only if it's good. Okay, Ho?
Only if it's good. Oh.
No, because sometimes they be trying to fool you and it's like too thin or like gritty. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like it's like either too icy or too. I'm not here for that.
It has to fill that tall glass.
And blurp a little bit over the side.
Yeah.
And I want a sidecar. Bring me the sidecar.
Yeah.
Oh, if you bring me the metal thing.
And it better be half full.
Oh, yeah. If you bring
be.
me that thing, I'll be like, you're getting a real good tip.
I got last Saturday was my cheat day. Cheat day coming up again. Very excited.
What did you do?
I went, we were out and about, and among the things that I ate that day,
Did you fuck a stranger? Oh, sorry.
Gross. If by stranger you mean a Shake Shack with my mouth.
Oh, sorry. Cheat day. I got confused.
Wrong
it's
cheat
different
day.
in my world.
Yeah, sorry. I didn't mean a General Hospital cheat day. I meant Hal Lublin cheat day. I was really disappointed. It tasted great, but they put it in a fucking shot glass. I don't want a shot glass of milkshake.
What?
I want a milkshake. First of all, don't give me sizes. I'm not trying to be a little bad. I want like a big boy milkshake. Yeah. Give me my black and white in a giant cup. Not like it's like the cup that they give you in the movie theater when you just want water, and they put a milkshake in there.
Girl, nah,
that's fucked up. That's fucked up. We gotta shut them down.
That's rude.
I'm so mad. I'm gonna have to go there next time and be like,
you give them a piece of your mind.
Can I have 4 of them so it's a regular size? You monsters. Hose.
Remember when the 3 of us shared a milkshake from White Castle and it took us an hour and 40 minutes to eat it?
So
it was
thick.
like solid.
Yes.
But it was so good.
It was really good.
I was not mad. I want it thick.
It was so big too. It really was.
Thick with 4 C's.
Yes.
I should be able to turn the shit upside down and like do a pole trick with it.
Are you like that with the Blizzard too though? Because I want the Blizzard to be a little runnier. I don't like when they turn it upside down.
I don't want them to turn it upside down. I want my Blizzard. Just give me my Blizzard immediately after you get it off the whipping thing.
They start to turn it upside down. You grab it, honey. No, we're not here for this.
Give it to me, you fool.
I love cold sweets so much that I have a smoothie every day for breakfast, and I make it so thick that I consistently burn out the engine on my motor on my Vitamix.
Girl,
like
it's a Vitamix. That is like a jet engine.
Yeah.
How do you burn it out?
I burn it out.
Wow.
I gotta have it my way, and so I burn it out. When your Vitamix engine burns out, it turns off, and then it will not turn back on for another 8 hours.
Wow.
I do it like at least once a week. I burn it out.
Meg,
So all that frozen fruit. Yeah. Just stops. It's like it's too much.
And then does the Vitamix smell like rubber and bread?
It smells a little bit like rubber and bread.
I do love the smell of bread,
does.
but I hate the smell of rubber.
Yeah.
So
Rubber's
forget
bad.
that moonlight all night.
A lot of times diners smell like dirty dishwater, right?
They shouldn't. It should smell like
but they do.
Fried food and pancakes.
They stopped smelling like cigarettes though.
That's
for years.
yeah.
So they smelled like cigarettes.
Yeah, like they put the non-smoking booth right next to a smoking booth. Like, do you know?
It didn't matter. Yeah, it doesn't
At the
matter.
Tiffany Diner in Philly, they had a whole room for the smokers. There was like a hub area where there was a bar and the hostess stand and the checkout, the cashier. So you didn't have to be in the smoking area. You could have a cleaner meal. But now, thankfully, that does not exist anymore. But man, that was the worst.
Ugh.
I smoked so many thousands of packs of cigarettes in diners, and I'm sorry. I'm sorry to everyone who was in those diners with me who did not smoke, because it's disgusting. It's not until you quit smoking that you realize how absolutely disgusting smoking is. And you're like, oh God,
Yeah.
I can't believe I did this to the world.
Yeah.
Speaking of did this to the world.
We did it.
What a fucked up episode, guys.
Yeah.
Really, it's a really interesting standalone. Made me think a lot about the systems by which people become parts of systems.
Yeah.
You know?
I just wrote in all like capitals. It's like, this is how they change jobs.
Yeah. You get kidnapped, and the next thing you know, you're a man who isn't tall
or short. One thing I found, though, interesting was Cecil's even commentary on himself, though. He said, even the man on the radio does not know why he changes the story or where this other story comes from. He does not always understand everything he does. Sometimes he does understand, but he hides it from you. I was like...
Some foreshadowing for the next episode.
Yeah.
Ready for it. You know what else I'm ready for?
A conversation with Eliza Rickman, who's this episode's weather.
Yes!
Stay right there. Good Morning Night Vale will return after a brief break.
We have with us the weather for this episode, the lovely and talented Eliza Rickman.
Yay.
Hey.
Yay! Hi!
Hi.
We're always so excited to see you.
I know. I am excited to see you guys too.
So Eliza, this was your first appearance as the weather.
Mm-hmm.
How did you get involved with Night Vale? Can you tell us about that?
Mm-hmm. It was kind of a fluke accident thing. I had just gone through a really rough time getting out of this very lighthearted talk, an emotionally abusive relationship that was very traumatizing. And that happened in Portland, Oregon. And I was like just kind of scrambling to get myself out of there and back to how my life had been before, which meant going on tour and like driving around the country in my car. And literally the day after I found out that this guy had played me so hard, I got a text from Jason Webley, and he was like, hey, have you heard of Welcome to Night Vale? And I was like, no, but I didn't know what a podcast was back then.
No one
did. This was like 5 years ago, which is an eternity ago now in like technology, internet age. I responded when I saw the text, and I was like, no. And he told me that they needed somebody to fill in on 5 nights for the live shows, someone to be the weather, because our lovely friends Danny Schmidt and Carrie Elkin wanted to be at South by Southwest for 5 nights during a tour where they were otherwise the only musical guest. And I was like, hell yeah, I can do it. It worked out perfectly. I happened to have those 5 or 6 days free, and I didn't care about South by Southwest. So I remember adding the tour dates to my like social media pages that I was going to be opening for Welcome to Night Vale, and all my like nerd-tastic friends were blowing up my phone and the links like, what? You're going to be the weather? And I was like, what are you talking about? Like the weather? And I had every intention of looking it up, but I just like never did. I met up with them in Houston for my first night with them, and it was magical. And Jason had told me that Night Vale fans would probably love me, and he told me to bring a lot of merch, and I was like, okay, but I still wasn't quite prepared for what happened.
Right.
I remember standing next to Meg selling merch, and I only had this like little itty bitty envelope, like something you mail like a thank you card in, and I was just like shoving 20s in there, and she was like concerned, like all your money is about to fall out of there. But I just didn't know I'd be like connecting with their lovely audience. And then we did, so that was Houston, Dallas, Oklahoma City.
I remember Oklahoma City because we hung out in that lovely hotel after that show.
Yeah.
That was actually really nice. Yeah. It was across from the Botanic Gardens.
Yes. And then Lawrence, Kansas, and St. Louis, Missouri.
Yeah.
And then that was it. Those were my 5 days, and it felt like a really amazing experience. And I felt like the experience was so
intense in a good way for me that I felt like the universe was like rewarding me for taking care of myself and getting away from a terrible person, and for prioritizing my career again. And I felt, honestly, even though I'd been performing for years already, I felt like, oh, I've actually finally found my people. Like, whatever this is, these are my people. They get me. They appreciate me. And I remember going about my merry way, and then like a week or two, not more than 2 weeks later, I got an email from Joseph asking if they could use Pretty Little Head as the weather. And I remember I was in the middle of street performing in Knoxville, and nobody cared about me. I was not making any money, but I did not give a fuck. Am I allowed to curse?
Yeah,
yes.
please.
Okay.
We don't fucking care.
I mean, I figured, like, you know me, so you know how I speak. Yeah, I didn't give a fuck because I was jumping up and down because I was like, oh my God, I'm going to be on the podcast too. How sweet. And I was just really honored. And also, when I texted a good friend of mine to tell him that, he was like, oh my God, that's really cool. And I guess I can't know this for sure, but this friend, Avery, he'd listened to some interviews with Jeffrey and Joseph, and he was like, I'm pretty sure they've said that they've had the weather picked out like for a year in advance. So they probably like moved some stuff around to fit you in there. And I don't know if that's true, but I like to think it is, maybe. I've listened to the episode. I think it's a good fit, the vibe of the song.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have a letter from a fan. They emailed, Kristen wrote to us and said, hi, Hal, Meg and Symphony. They didn't know that you were going to be on the show. So. Hope I'm not too late for this episode because it's my absolute favorite. My headcanon is that no one is allowed to describe what the men look like, so they need to be described only by what they are not. I love the weird, creepy vibe it gives, changing a descriptor we're familiar with just enough. Also, when the radio changes to describing Dana in the desert, seems like foreshadowing to her being mayor, with her being described as a leader with the massed army following her. Mm-hmm. And not a head canon, but Pretty Little Head is my absolute favorite weather in Night Vale. I bought it right after I listened to the episode for the first time. Continue to do your great work, and all your laughs are contagious, and I love listening to your tangents, especially the food ones, from Alice. Alice in Scotland.
Yay.
Alice got their dad into Night Vale and brought him to the Glasgow show.
That's adorable.
And then we have another one that says, Dear everyone, my favorite weather of all time was Eliza Rickman's Pretty Little Head. She was touring with you guys when you came to Tampa with All Hail. And as I hadn't bothered to check in advance who the weather segment would be for the show, I was delightfully surprised and found out in that moment that it was Eliza Rickman. And in a stroke of wonderfully good luck, I happened to be in the second row right in front of where she was performing. It was such a treat getting to experience the show that close up, and the absolute silence from the audience when she was playing her Glockenspiel ? Was amazing. It was my absolute favorite of all the live shows. Love you guys. And that's from Kristen.
Thanks.
Aww.
Yeah, that was a special show. I remember the Tampa show very well.
Don't the fans just make you feel so mushy?
Yes.
I mean,
yeah.
That experience, like, what was that experience like for you, meeting these people and seeing what an impact that your music makes on them?
Honestly, at the risk of sounding cheesy, it makes me feel like I'm fulfilling my purpose in life, you know?
That's not cheesy at all.
I mean, I know that I would continue to make art no matter how many people cared or were listening to it, but there's something about, especially in person, like having a person come up to you after a show and just be like, your music means so much to me. Or I've had people say it inspired me to become a music major in college. I had one guy email me, or he sent a Facebook message, and he was like, he was at one of the Night Vale shows. I want to say it was Oklahoma City, and he told me that he has this, like, I don't think he called it a disorder, and I'm not sure what to call it, but he has a thing where music doesn't really affect him.
Okay.
But he said that he cried during my performance, and like, I mean, I live for that.
Yeah, that's amazing.
You know, and it's not the compliments; it's the like, oh my God, I made something that made a difference to him, to all these people. I kind of divide my career in half. There was like pre-Night Vale where I was like, I don't know if any of the shows I'm playing matter. I don't know if there's like a market for what I do. And then post-Night Vale where I was like, oh yeah, there are people like my shit. It's just a matter of like getting it to the right people, playing in front of the right people.
Oh man, and we loved. You toured a heck of a lot with us from those
know.
first 5 dates. Spiraled into traipsing all over
I
North
know.
America and Europe. And one of my favorite memories of your performance was we were in Copenhagen. And it was like one of the worst days of tour where like John and Cecil lost their bags. We had to
remember.
Our flight was delayed. We had to go right from the airport to the venue. The venue was cool, but it was like everything was hard and like there was like we were trying to figure out the weird kroner and like, but you were like starting to get sick and you absolutely like was such an I remember standing stage right next to John and you started singing and your voice hit the room and it reverberated back and it sounded so amazing. I like got shivers and I was like, oh, holy shit. It was when you were doing the Bowie cover, the Let's Dance. And I was like, oh wow, this like hurts. It's so good. So it was like that shining star and it was a really shit day on tour, but it was like, oh, we're doing something that's like really cool. And it was just a really, and then we stood out in the snow because it was snowing in October when we were waiting for that van to take us 2 hours to our hotel that we got to.
The hotel that wouldn't let us in.
They wouldn't let us in. And then when we got there, it was just like everything was all fucked up. I had to like climb a hill with Kate Jones because we didn't want to share a bed. And you and Teresa were like, we don't care. We're so tired. We're going to share a bed.
No, she was such a perfect tour roommate for me. We giggled so much, and we were just like exhausted all the time, I think.
Yeah, that was a rough one, that tour. But yeah.
I loved it, though. I loved it so much.
It was a good one. Yeah, I remember insisting on hiring Teresa. Teresa is our Australian tour manager, merch person, and she's incredible. And it was my first time tour managing Europe. And I was like, I need someone who's like the best of the best. We're flying Teresa from Australia to Europe. And we did. And it was so worth it. She was
I'm really glad. Yes, and now she is my friend.
Yeah.
My real life friend.
But that's the great thing about touring together is that you become fast friends with people.
Yeah.
Not because you have to, but because we're also super sweet, awesome, fun people.
Yeah.
And look, we've said this a million times before, but I feel like Night Vale in general has drawn so many wonderful people together through this awesome artistic pursuit. So let's talk about Pretty Little Head for a second. I remember that was a newer song, right? When
it was already out for 2 years before it was featured, but new to most people. But yeah, that was for my first album, which came out in 2012.
It's a damn good album.
Thank you.
Still listen to it today.
Always.
It's a spooky one.
Yeah. It's actually one of the only things that's actually downloaded onto my, because usually, I have Spotify and stuff like that. And it's all very impermanent, but like, it's one of the only things. So like, if we're on the road and we ever like lose internet connection, we can listen to you or Dessa.
What an honor.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It still makes for a pretty slapping playlist. I'm just going to tell you.
Yeah.
Thank
it's
you.
always a good time.
Another thing I was going to mention is that because it was 2014 when that episode came out, people bought the shit out of that song and that album. I don't want to sound like I'm not rich, but I made like so much money those next couple of months just from that song being on Night Vale. And I know that because of like Spotify and streaming, that has changed, So I felt like it was cool to see like financial benefits and see where it was coming from that year.
Well, and
it was nice.
In that same vein, because of all the streaming services and things like that, what is the best, since you're a DIY artist, right? You manage, produce, do all your stuff, get your name out there, put your music out yourself. How do people support artists like yourself, Eliza?
Well, streaming pays virtually nothing, which I don't think is a secret. I don't hate Spotify. I think it's very handy dandy and I enjoy using it myself, but it's impossible to make money that way. iTunes is fine. I see that money usually like 3 or 4 months later. Bandcamp is, I think, where the people who understand just how like DIY AF I am, that's where they go to download or order hard copies of my albums. And, you know, I was just thinking about this recently. I've had a lot of just people like come out of the woodwork and like send me $100 donations here and there, like a 50 or 100 or 200, just to let, I think it's because I don't have a Patreon and they want, they want to help me survive. I don't have a day job. I probably should have gotten one a long time ago, but I still don't.
Same, sister.
Yeah. I'm working on, well, yeah, it's not a secret. I was struggling with some like mental, emotional health stuff that started last year related to PTSD from that terrible relationship. It just kind of like, it all came tumbling down on me. Now that I'm in a really good relationship, I'm having to deal with all my baggage. And I haven't been nearly as productive as I was prior to that. And so I'm working right now on like just getting projects that need to be wrapped up out there. One of them being the covers album, the never-ending covers album.
Looking forward to it.
I am too. I mean, what we have is gorgeous. And the Kickstarter backers, if they're listening, who pledged to that, they already have 9 out of 11 finished songs. So, I mean, it's slow, but it's not like I've forgotten about it. And then the Pretty Little Head music video, there's still some like Kickstarter goodies that I need to send out. So I'm kind of focused on that right now.
Cool.
And that's another reason why I'm like, I can't have a day job, then I wouldn't be able to do that shit.
And how would people donate to you? Through your website, through...
I don't think there's a donate button on my website, and I should fix that. People tend to just send me like a PayPal or a Venmo donation once in a while. I mean, my email is easy. It's eliza@elizarickman.com.
Great.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you can reach out to Eliza, and you can send her some financial love if you're a baller, or if, you know, you appreciate what she does. So I definitely appreciate what you do.
Thank you.
Also, yeah, listen to Eliza's music if you haven't already. Listen to Pretty Little Head because it's in the episode. But
yeah,
you have a lot of really, really terrific songs for different moods and times.
Oh, totally.
And things like you really, really run the emotional gamut and the tempo and tone gamut with your catalog. So.
I personally like to prance around in the underbrush, listening to your music like a woodland nymph.
Yay. Also, I remember that's what you said to me when, like, around the time we first met. You were like, your look is like a fairy that just rolled out from under a bush.
It's
and
true.
I love that.
It's true.
It was not an insult.
No, no way isn't it an insult. It's quite the compliment, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah. And if you get the chance, if Eliza's ever in your city, definitely get on Eliza's mailing list.
Yes.
So if you run into her on the road, go see her. She puts on an incredible show, and you can get a visual on the wood nymph that rolled out from under a bush.
Yeah. And get silly stories and jokes between songs.
Yeah.
I hear that's a fun part of the show.
That banter. Someone's always paying for that banter, baby. That's my whole job. Professional banterer. Thank you so much for doing our podcast. Thank you so much for touring the world with us. Thank you so much for
thank you for being a friend.
Of course. Thank you.
We love you.
We love you too.
I miss you so
much. Folks, we did it. Thank you so much for listening. Thanks to all of you who are patrons on Patreon. Those of you who are not, that are like, what? You can do that? Yes, you can. You go to patreon.com/Good Morning Night Vale to support us there. We'd really appreciate it. Next time, when you hear us, we will be discussing episode 46. That is Parade Day. But until then, good morning, Night Vale. Good morning.
Good Morning Night Vale is a Night Vale Presents production. It is hosted by Symphony Sanders, Hal Lublin, and Meg Bashwiner. It is edited by Grant Stewart. It is mixed by Vincent Cacchione. It is produced by Meg Bashwiner. Theme music by Disparition. Special thanks to our guest this week, Eliza Rickman. Leave us a voicemail at 929-277-2050 or email us at info@goodmorningnightVale.com to share your theories and ask questions, or to share your tips and tricks for back-to-school blood sacrifice. This show is powered by our patrons, like Amy Rowland, Joshua Hall, Hannah Long, Howard Shelfer, and Greg Stovall. If you're interested in supporting this show for lots of fun, exclusive, hyper cool kid content, check us out at patreon.com/goodmorningnightVale. For more information on this show, go to goodmorningnightVale.com and follow us on Facebook and on Twitter at Night Vale Chat. Special thanks to Christy Gressman, Jeffrey Craner, Joseph Fink, and Adam Cecil. Today's adverb is mistakenly. In the last episode's credits, I mistakenly said that uneaten was an adverb. It is not. Do you ever make mistakes? Do you like yourself? Like yourself. Like yourself. Like yourself. Like yourself. Like yourself. Like yourself. Like yourself.